Hello and welcome to this episode of Mutual Fund Masters. Joining me today is an industry veteran, Kalpen Parekh, who's the president of DSP Mutual Fund. Thank you very much, Kalpen. It's always a pleasure talking to you. You've seen, and as I said, you're a veteran of this industry. You've seen it across more than 2 decades. So let me first ask you, what is the kind of evolution that you're seeing in this industry? We, hear a lot about passive versus active. There was a time when we all said that, when will India have index funds? Today we have a plethora of them. We have a booming ETF market, which is getting better by the day. Still very small compared to global markets, but picking up. Over the last couple of years, we saw the whole shift towards international funds. A lot of advisors have been advocating that you must have 5 to 10% of your portfolio in international funds. Then we've seen another trend where, last year we saw more people going and investing directly in equities rather than perhaps coming through the mutual fund route. At the same time, the data that has come out even as recently as this week suggests that the SIP book remains strong, over 8,000 crores. So what's really going on? How are you seeing the evolution of the mutual fund industry in India?
Evolution, as we know, is always slow. It's never, very, very starkly visible. It's always a very, very slow grind. I think a lot of things that you mentioned are actually an outcome of, recency bias and wanting to invest in what is doing well right now. And that is a part of human behavior across the world. It's not about India. It's about a universal rule that our bias is to invest looking behind. While we don't realize we are looking for investing for the future, but we always like to invest in what has done well in recent times. So in recent times, international funds have done well, so they are attracting a lot of attention. A couple of years where active funds had underperformed passive funds, so passive funds are emerging, and so on and so forth. I think the opportunity for the fund industry is to always use the word and instead of or, instead of versus. So I keep telling this to myself and to everyone that it is never about active versus passive, domestic versus international, mutual fund versus ETF, direct stocks versus mutual funds. Ultimately, all of this is feeding into one simple parameter, which is corporate profitability, and you are creating pipelines to extract that corporate profitability, to take advantage of that, so that we fulfill our future financial goals and we are able to let our money grow at returns better than inflation, and we are able to earn real rates of return. So ultimately, that's the main game. But I think to me, the bigger evolution that I'm very excited about is the growth of digital India, and the fact that today, more than 30 or 40 crore Indians have smartphones, which have become like a branch for any mutual fund or for any wealth manager or an advisor. So you have the opportunity to be present to a very large network of potential consumers. I'm using the word consumers because they are still not investors, because the actual number of investors in India are still less than 2 or 3, just around 3 crores. Actual number of direct stock investors are also around 3 to 4 crores. So there is a large pool of India which earlier needed physical access, opening up a branch and going and having the old-fashioned processes to open a folio. All that has got streamlined, and I think to me that is a very big step in the evolution for expanding the category, for converting more savers into investors. We are good savers. We all know our savings rates are very good, but our methods of saving have been very conventional. Some of them have been tax inefficient. Some of them don't even beat inflation. That is a big change that's happening. And the second thing that I'm seeing is, it's in again a very small degree, is that the time horizon for SIPs are gradually moving up. Investors are using SIP as a medium to save, and the tenor of these SIPs are 10 years and above. In old days, I remember in early part of my career, the tenor of SIP used to be 1 year, 2 year, and 3 years. Today, the minimum tenor, for which you sign up should be 10 years and is actually 10 years. So that is a very big shift, which allows investor to capture a full market cycle. Normally in 1 year, you may come in a bull market, you acquire units at high, and then it crashes. But when you do a 10-year SIP, you are seeing cheap markets, fairly valued markets, and expensive markets, and you're capturing the full cycle. So I think that is a very big evolution for me, which will help our investors earn better returns.
Kalpen, you've been a great believer in the power of asset allocation. You have been talking a lot about dynamic asset allocation as well. You have a good fund also in that space. But how important is asset allocation? I know we've talked about this many times over the years, but I think it's worth reiterating to people the importance of asset allocation.
My technique to play will matter. Asset allocation is nothing but a technique. And what does this technique talk about? It just says that you have all the asset classes in your portfolio in a certain ratio. The ratio can be personalized, customized, depending on every individual's biases, preferences, time horizon, and risk profile. And the ratio can also be personalized and customized in line with where you are in the market cycle. The second big driver for asset allocation is the larger belief that in the long term, we make better returns with lower volatility if we buy an asset class which is cheap, and if we buy less of an asset class which is more expensive. Grandmother's wisdom, right? That you buy what is cheap. You bargain for vegetables when you go for shopping, but we rarely bargain for our asset classes. So asset allocation automatically bargains, because what happens is, if let's say we have 50-50 in debt and equity, for example, and equity markets are up by 30%, the 50 will actually become 65, and you rebalance that. So that is the technique which really powers the investor to earn long-term returns with lower volatility. To me, asset allocation is a beautiful technique to ensure that the journey of compounding is uninterrupted and investors can reach their end destination in a far more risk-efficient manner.
Kalpen, we live in very difficult times, and the second wave has been extremely terrible, for the want of any other word, for many people. The investor behavior, on the other hand, seems to be very different. Even though this wave was far more savage compared to the first wave, the investor behavior seems to be very different this time round. What is it that you attribute the reason for this?
I think clearly it is access. Unlike many times in the past when we've had similar, economic environments, volatility in stock markets, no doubt this time the volatility has reached households in terms of, health and life crisis. But keeping that aside, I think what has changed this time is far easy access of information. So once you have access, it is becoming like a game, right? You can, straight away log in on your mobile app in half a minute and then press few buttons. So there is huge amount of instant gratification that you get when access becomes so simple, so quick. And this is not just access; it is also access in nice UX and UI formats. So that's one big reason I believe that a lot of people are latching on to investing as a habit. Number one. Number two, it is also the fact that alternative asset classes are today giving very poor returns. So I think that's a wrong reason to buy stocks, because if you're buying stocks very expensive, it can also create the after effect of price correction. But we recently published a blog where we started by a quote of a German investor who said that instead of paying my bank 0.5% to keep my money, I rather go and buy stocks, because stocks are going up 30-40% at least in the last couple of quarters. So why do I pay my bank? So now in a similar corollary in India, if you're investing in fixed deposits or fixed income funds or debt funds, the portfolio yields are around 4 to 5%. So a lot of investors are saying, I rather take stocks today, because stocks are moving up 4-5% in a week today. So what bonds are giving in a year, you're getting in stocks probably in weeks and months. So it is also the speed of the market move which is attracting a lot of people and a lot of money. Right or wrong, time will tell. Because this also creates an illusion that making money is very easy. So investing has truly got democratized. It has got disintermediated, and investors are having more resources than ever before to become investors. Now, whether they will become good or bad investors is a function of how each investor will behave. But more and more people are wanting to become investors, seeing that a lot of money is in. And I think that seems to be the reason for this trend.
Kalpen, for an individual who wants to start investing in the equity market through the mutual fund route, what would your advice be in terms of what should be the portfolio construct for a beginner? And then as you go along, how should you change it? You did talk about asset allocation. Is that a good product for a first time investor, or is it something that you start with something else and then move to an asset allocation? Do you start with, say, for example, a balanced fund? What is your advice to a beginning, a new investor?
So, ideally there can be thousands of investment solutions one can suggest to an investor. It needs better diagnostics or more diagnostic to understand how does the investor think of volatility? How does he think if his NAVs were to temporarily drop by 20, 30 or 40%? And then basis that one would recommend a product idea or a investment plan. Number two, it is also a function of which phase in the market you are in. So let me try to answer this in 3 steps. The first thing is always to have the right advisor doing your diagnostic first, because the most important is to know what are you here for. Today, if you ask many investors, and I tell you, so many friends are calling up saying, I read about this PMS having given 45% return, mujhe paisa lagana hai. I saw your interview, niche I saw a ticker that your small cap fund has given 111% return, I want to invest. So when you ask them, paisa kyun lagana hai, what is your driver of returns? Most of the times, the reason to invest seems to be wrong reason, it's past returns. So in a bear market, I would have said start with aggression, because full toss hai, go for a 6, go for an out and out equity fund and go for a 6. Today is the time to wear your helmet and all your safeguards and then go to that. And that's where hybrid funds make sense. Now within hybrid, it could be dynamic asset allocation fund, which is a very conservative starting point, or it could be the erstwhile balance fund, what we call as the equity and bond fund, which has 30% in debt all through. It will be 70% in equity, 30% in debt. I would say that is a better product to start with today in current environment, where we still feel that there can be a lot of price fluctuation over the next 2-3 years, and we don't want a first-time investor to get unnerved with sharp volatility. So my bias would be to recommend a dynamic asset allocation fund or an equity and bond fund to start with. The third point, it also depends what is the nature of cash flow. It is lump sum money, then obviously I would say start with asset allocation funds. They will automatically adjust the equity exposure. At cheap valuations, they will increase equity. At expensive valuations, they will reduce. But if it is monthly investment through an SIP route, which most often is the reality for our investors, then start with an SIP in a simple flexi cap fund, which gives you the right companies of India across market caps. And because it is SIP, then current valuations don't matter.
All right, Kalpen, we leave it there. Thank you very much for taking time out in these very difficult times. I wish you and your team all the very best. Stay safe, and hope we all come out of this quickly. And good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. All the best to all of you and your listeners. Thank you.